Well, the Idle No More movement is gaining momentum. Protests are planned across the country. Meanwhile, Attawapiskat Chief Theresa Spence is actually on a 21st day of her hunger strike. And I wonder if a meeting between the Prime Minister and Spence is in the cards for the new year. But we've got our social media correspondent, Beatrice Vaisman, tracking the online reaction. She joins us now. Hi, Beatrice.
Hi, Pat. Well, yes, it's certainly the last day of the year today, but it doesn't seem like Chief Theresa Spence and the federal government are any closer to finding a solution to their long-standing problems, Pat. And as you mentioned off the top here, Theresa Spence is in the 21st day of her hunger strike. But of course, we know that it's more than just about, one chief and one leader. And, people are coming out from all across the country in support of Chief Theresa Spence's hunger strike, as well as the Idle No More movement. And social media has certainly played a huge role in, rallying people together, people posting events up on Facebook and Twitter, and, getting people out to these protests, flash mobs, blockades, however you want to call it. And I want to read you some of these tweets here, Pat. The first one, actually, before we get to that, I did ask Chief Spence's media spokesperson, Nicole Robertson, what she thought of the role social media was playing here. And here's what she said. Our Indigenous peoples are natural storytellers as we have an oral history. I see social media campaigns as a new era of storytelling for this generation of Indigenous people. And of course, people of all, stripes and stars are coming out online, both in support of Theresa Spence and some of them showing disdain for her hunger strike. I'm seeing a lot of people actually calling it a photo op. So I want to take you through a couple comments that I've seen over the last couple minutes. The first one here says, Prime Minister Stephen Harper should meet with Spence as at least a gesture of good faith to Canadian Aboriginals. Others, are calling for continued peace in this movement, but not everyone is so enthused. Now, Brian says, how could I feel sorry for some greedy chief who let her reserve starve while she got fat from millions of dollars ripped off the taxpayers? So some stern words there, Pat. And one more from Hunter. He says, I'm sure if she met with Aboriginal Affairs Minister John Duncan first, she would maybe get her wish. She needs to follow procedures like anyone else. This whole thing stinks of outside agitators. And that, of course, is the problem, is that, Minister Duncan has extended the so-called olive branch to her. She has now refused twice to meet with him. So it's interesting to see what will happen in the new year, Pat. And I do want to show you some photos from protests that have happened over the weekend. There was a protest outside of Prime Minister Harper's constituency office in Calgary, as well as some outside of the Alberta legislature in Edmonton. Also here in Toronto at the Eaton Centre Mall, about 400 people actually showed up yesterday to, show support for this movement. And finally, Pat, this is also the topic of our web poll today. We are asking the Sunforce, whether you think Chief Theresa Spence's 3-week hunger strike has improved her chances of meeting with the Prime Minister. So log on to our website, that's sunnewsnetwork.ca, cast your vote, and let us know what you think.
Everybody likes a photo op. No question about that.
Everybody likes a photo op, especially if you're, someone who's in the public eye, a little bit more high profile there. You like your photo ops.
And it's amazing when you go through those tweets how many people are lined up on both sides of the argument.
Absolutely. The tweets are coming in fast and furious. It's almost difficult to keep up on the Twitter feed. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you so much, Beatrice.
My pleasure.